Hello everyone, I am TitanicSizedReviews. I review movies, shows, and video games, and today I am reviewing Deadly Dilf, a 2023 Tubi original movie. It is a thriller drama, and I'd say those are actually pretty accurate. I chose this movie because, well, the name is absolutely ridiculous. So I was hoping it was going to be more of a serial killer kind of movie. That's not what this movie is at all. I'm going to have spoilers, but it's not going to be right now. It'll be near the end. I'll put a warning so that way you know when it's coming up. The few things that I am going to mention are, well, the basics of the movie. If you've just read the description of it, or you look at the title, you should understand what the movie's going to be. The movie's about a family that moves in next to this college girl and her aunt. And the movie starts out with the college girl jogging with her friend at night, and she gets attacked and her dad dies. That's not a spoiler because it happens literally at the very beginning of the movie. I think it's supposed to be what messes her up, because this movie is not about the dad being like a psychopath. It's about her being a psychopath. Like I said, you read the description of the movie and that's basically what it says. It says that she kind of goes crazy and tries to ruin his marriage. Obviously, they're going to bone later in the movie. So this movie's main character, the girl, is Elysium, and the dad is Rio, aka the Dilf. Feels weird saying that. I chose this movie because it had such a weird name, though, so I guess it is what it is. Well, Rio has a son named Gunnar. He is currently married to a woman named Tori. He has a brother named Jake. These are basically all the main characters. There's kind of the aunt and Elysium's best friend, but they're minor, I would say. Everyone's acting in this is decent enough, anyways. The story's written rather well, like I said, for most of it. There's some inconsistencies, like the timing in this movie. Some of the timing in this movie is real weird. You can't tell if it's been like an hour, a couple of days, a few weeks. Like, I don't feel like they do that part too well. They don't really explain the gap in time. It's kind of strange. Before I go any further, I will say, for a Tubi original movie, this one's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. It does have some ridiculous moments, for sure. Some things that you just can't help but question, like, why? But I'll get to that in the spoilers. If you're wondering if the movie's worth watching or not, just right off the bat, yeah, I think it's pretty good. Nothing like special, but no, it's pretty good for what it is. For an indie Tubi original movie, it's pretty good. Like I said, most of the dumb parts don't come till like the end of the movie, which I'm gonna get into right now because I don't want to waste too much time. So obviously, as I said earlier, the premise of the movie is that the girl kind of goes crazy after she bones the dad, who was drunk, and his wife was away, and his kid was away, obviously. And she gets very obsessive and starts doing crazy crap, kind of trying to manipulate him. Not to necessarily ruin his marriage, but just to get him to love her. That's kind of how it seems. So there are a few moments when they, for instance, will have to like talk to the police, but they don't ever show the police in this movie. They just kind of want you to assume that it happened. I mean, they mentioned once that they're like, oh, we talked to the police. I don't know why there's no police currently with them at that time. Because during this part, and this is a spoiler, as I said, that's the section we're in, their child has gone missing from school. Well, apparently Elysium picks up the son, brings him back super late, and they're mad at her for a moment, and then she says she gets a text from Rio, the dad, She, of course, doesn't actually show the text. They don't even, like, ask her for it. They just assume that she's right and he's wrong. It's a little stupid. There's, like I said, there's little stupid moments in this movie, but it doesn't really start to get dumb till, like, an hour and 16 minutes in, where you're basically at the end of the movie. A certain character dies. I won't say who, but how he dies is real stupid. It's real dumb. That was one of those really dumb moments that made it look like a Tubi movie for sure. Absolutely 100%. If I saw this moment, this is what defines Tubi for me, is that moment when that man dies. Just based off the other Tubi movies I've seen. Besides the very ending of this movie, around this part, I kind of put up with like the little stuff. Like, for instance, when she's running at night. She does this again sometimes shortly after her dad's death, because she apparently has been living with her aunt only a few days after the dad's death. She mentions it to Rio at one point, and that's kind of how they end up hooking up in the first place. Is she's running at night, thinks she's being followed by some ginger douche who was, I guess, her boyfriend at some point. They didn't really do a whole lot with that relationship. But the point is that she's just running at night again shortly after her father's death. Real dumb. Doesn't really make any sense. It's kind of whatever. You put up with it. Some of the characters don't seem to have manners, I would say. Like, child services, for instance, pops up later at the end of the movie because of something that Rio was alleged of doing. And they straight up just walk in the house. They're not invited in. They don't care. They just walk right in. There's a part where the girl breaks into his house, which I think is rather obvious since she's, you know, the crazy one. She busts up like a picture frame. They don't mention that picture frame at all. I don't know where the glass went that was on the floor. There's just no mention of it. It just disappears from the story. Well, sometime after a certain character's death, the dad is pretty mad at the girl for how everything has been happening, and he's obviously tried to play it off in the movie like, just let this go, I don't want to have a relationship with you, let's move on, please. And then eventually starts to try to get payback a little bit, causing other consequences, which I think is fine. I think it helps the story move along. It does a good job. Like I said, it's not bad for what the movie is. Everything's shot rather well. The music in it is well timed, I would say, well placed for the most part. Like I said, the actors do a decent job. But it has those little moments. One last moment I'm going to bring up is where he goes, and he's kind of just had enough. He goes to his shed, and he just grabs his gun. I don't know why his gun's in his shed all of a sudden, but he also gets this paper with some, say, damning information that should have been erased or disappeared at a certain time in the movie due to a certain character's death, but was not. I don't know why it's there. I don't know. It was just a little dumb moment. There's also a really dumb, like, chase scene at the end of the movie. I mean, it looks goofy as fuck. I have to bring these things up because they bother me a bit. I know I'm a little scattered, and I apologize for that. Hopefully I'll do better next video. Overall, though, I think the movie's decent. I do. I think it's decent. For a Tubi indie movie, it's decent. I admit, I'm comparing it to the other movies that I've watched, and those movies take some L's. This one manages to do a decent enough job till the very end of the movie. So I think it's worth a watch. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 for what it is. If you liked my video, which is kind of all over the place, sorry about that. Hopefully, like I said, I'll do better next time. Please click subscribe. Please leave a like on the video. Maybe share the video. Maybe not. Very scattered. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.